2020 is finally behind us, and hopefully some of you got to spend some of your holidays completing some of the games that have been sitting around on your backlog. I, for example, only got to complete one game during my time off, and don't be mad, but it wasn't even on Switch. What does my life mean? While 2021 hasn't been the greatest year so far, it just started, so there's plenty of time for it to turn itself around. Plus, there's plenty of exciting games that are planning to release on the Switch this year. So go ahead, pick up your backlog and just get rid of it. Just toss it. Just toss it on out of here. I'm Zion from Nintendo Life, and today we're going to be taking a look at 25 games releasing on the Nintendo Switch in the year 2021 that you can look forward to. Hopefully. Hopefully they come out. Part of me still just can't even believe it, but I'm so glad that the first game that I get to talk about in the new year is Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, the game. One of my all-time favorite couch co-op street beaters is back after being delisted from online storefronts in 2014. It's a classic pixel art romp through the story of Scott Pilgrim, fighting for the heart of Ramona Flowers. It'll take you places the movie just couldn't go, simply due to the fact that Edgar Wright probably didn't have the crazy budget to pull off some of the more outlandish boss fights like we've seen in the books. He still did a great job though. The game is full of retro video game references, unlockable characters, and a wicked score by Anamanaguchi, which I cannot praise enough. If you're a fan of the series and you haven't played this for some reason, or you've been itching to play it for years, you owe it to yourself to give this a shot again. And this new complete edition of the game comes with the extra knives and Wallace playable characters that were originally DLC with the original release, and they've included online multiplayer. So even if you don't have any friends to play with in person, you can still find someone online to traverse Toronto with. Now Ubisoft, you better make a physical release this time so that way this doesn't happen again, please. If you can believe it or not, the original Atelier Ryza launched on Switch back in 2019, and she took the world by storm, for more reasons than one. And in January, she's back with another adventure in Atelier Ryza 2: Lost Legends and the Secret Fairy. The Atelier series has been around for a long time now, but with the original Atelier Ryza, the developers Gus tried a lot of new things, and it actually makes an excellent starting point for anyone interested in the series. And this is also the first time that a character is actually getting a sequel in their game. Normally, most Atelier games star a brand new character. And even though this new game is a continuation of the original, we're hoping to enjoy it just as much as that original story. Little Nightmares is a bone-chilling platformer with creepy monsters and ghoulish figures around every corner, and it terrified me to death, almost, except for I'm still here, so I clearly didn't die. But it did a great job at taking the hide-and-seek elements from your standard horror game and implementing them into something new. But that launched a few years ago, and on February 11th, the Switch is getting the sequel, Little Nightmares 2. This new game sounds like it's going to be a continuation of the original story, as you can play as the original character 9, I believe their name was, and there's also a new character you can play as too. And the best part about having two characters now is the game actually features co-op, so you and a friend can confide in each other as you run through a slew of new levels featuring new baddies like this Slender figure that I'm not really a fan of at all, but I guess in a way that's a good thing that I actually hate it, because that's the point, right? I'm supposed to be terrified and it's working? Great. Can't wait. On February 12th, we're all losing another reason to hold on to our Wii U's. Oh, who am I kidding? The well-loved couch co-op platformer Super Mario 3D World is coming to the Switch along with something called Bowser's Fury. And I'm specifically calling it something because no one really has any idea what it is. Nintendo has purposefully shrouded it in mystery, so we're unsure if it's remixed more hardcore levels, a new game mode like Bowser's Minions, the things that came along with some of the Mario and Luigi games on 3DS. We have no clue. So if you missed out on this one during the days of the Wii U, this is an excellent platformer, a continuation of the ideas found in Super Mario 3D Land on 3DS, with multiplayer and cats. Yeah. Cat Mario. Oh yeah, and we're getting some Cat Mario and Cat Peach amiibo too. Then on February 23rd, Switch owners still aren't getting the Persona adventure we've all been clamoring for.
But have you tried Tokyo Mirage Sessions?
But we are getting a spin-off in the form of Persona 5 Strikers. This is a brand new hack and slash adventure from the makers of the Warriors games that looks to be holding on to all of the charm and flavor of the original. Persona 5 Strikers lets you play as a slew of characters from the original P5 and also features a new story that takes place in the summer of the main game. So picture this almost like an OVA of your favorite anime. The Phantom Thieves are going on a big road trip to steal some hearts and make some new friends along the way. So if you're a glutton for anything Persona, you'll likely want to keep your eyes on this one. After a few delays and a few demos, the new RPG from Square Enix, Bravely Default 2, is finally gracing the Switch on February 26th. The Bravely Default series sort of picks up the traditional turn-based RPG slack that the Final Fantasy series has sort of shrugged off over the past decade. The original Bravely Default was a downright classic RPG, not as much of a throwback as something like Octopath Traveler was, but very much a solid game that implemented the Brave and Default mechanic, which allowed you to bank up attacks to swing later in a fight. This gave battles an exciting twist that we still think about today, and we're all very much looking forward to getting our hands on the full game next month. And then jumping to the 23rd of March is none other than the latest title in the Story of Seasons series, Pioneers of Olive Town. This new entry in the farming sim builds off the tried and true formula of raising a farm, making friends with the townsfolk, and exploring the world to discover its secrets. With new animals, a town that evolves with your farm, and the overall feel-good gameplay the series is known for, there's plenty of reason to look forward to this one. We may be a Nintendo-focused channel, but that doesn't mean we can't talk about the works of Sega every now and then, because they are pretty buddy-buddy after all. And now, Square Enix happens to be joining forces with the creators of Sonic and Nights into Dreams for a brand new 3D platformer, going by the name of BALAN WONDERWORLD. This is just a crazy timeline. BALAN WONDERWORLD puts you in the shoes of two kids who stumble upon a mysterious theater run by an even more mysterious fellow named BALAN, who sends them off on adventures in the lands of Wonderworld, a place full of collectibles, critters, and costumes that grant these kids special powers. Sort of like in Super Mario Odyssey. There's supposed to be 80 different costumes, maybe even more. And the game oozes with that Sega charm we're used to seeing from the 90s and early 2000s. And the Square Enix team themselves are cooking up quite the flashy cutscenes to accompany the game. The Switch version does seem to be struggling a bit in comparison to other console versions, but we'll judge the game more when it actually arrives at our door. But for now, we're cautiously optimistic, and we can't wait to see how this platformer turns out. When a game is designed and optimized for a certain set of hardware, it can really shine. And Monster Hunter Rise is really shaping up to be another great example of just that. Launching on March 26th, this hack and slash monster slaying title takes a few cues from the more recent Monster Hunter world and ups the action with a new hookshot ability that allows you to fly all over the place like Spider-Man, and you can actually ride around on a dog, or better known as a palamute. A palamute? And for a limited time, Capcom actually released a demo for Monster Hunter Rise on the eShop, and you can go download it now and give it a try. Then launching sometime in the loose time frame of early 2021, Cris Tales is a bright, hand-drawn RPG inspired by some of the best. Now what makes this title unique is its focus on playing with time. Cris Tales allows the player to manipulate time in different ways to affect enemies in battle, to solve puzzles on the overworld, or just to explore and see how the characters and world change around you. Cris Tales has been a long time in the making, but it's really shaping up to be one heck of a unique experience. So we really hope the devs just please take all the time you need and make this RPG one to remember, because we're really excited about it so far. Subnautica has been on rival platforms for a while now and has been well received, but sometime this spring, Switch players will be finally able to join in on the underwater expeditions too. This is a first-person diving adventure all about scavenging for resources and exploring the unknown, and nothing screams unknown more than an underwater alien planet full of creatures that think you look like a snack.
And not the compliment kind either.
If you're looking for something like No Man's Sky to sink your teeth into, this underwater adventure could be one to keep your eyes on. The LEGO Star Wars series is really what got the ball rolling for LEGO video games back in 2005. Now, some may argue that, but at the very least, it's what got them recognized by Nintendo players, since we couldn't go out and play LEGO Island on our GameCube or N64. Launching sometime in the spring of this year is a full reimagining of the classic collectathon with LEGO Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga. This new title takes the top-down, lightsaber-swinging, stud-collecting mayhem of the original and flips it on its head with a new third-person camera that makes the experience much more engaging. It does look like it may be sacrificing a bit of that kid-friendly accessibility in turn, but there's no denying the fact that this adventure looks like a beauty and is still packing plenty of jokes for Force users young and old. Travis Touchdown is a rude, weeby, psycho gamer assassin that the world loves for some reason, including me. And after years of feeling like the beam katana wielding, toilet saving hitman would never return, we got Travis Strikes Again, and I thought it was fine. But finally, this year we're being treated to a full third-person action game with No More Heroes 3. This time, the world is being threatened by a set of comic book-esque alien invaders, and it's up to Travis to show him who's the #1 ranked assassin around here. Anyone who's a fan of the series will know exactly what to expect, and if you've yet to give any of them a try, the original 2 are available on the eShop, so you really have no reason beyond time and money to not give these a go. If Story of Seasons isn't necessarily as action-packed as you'd prefer, then you'll also have Rune Factory 5 coming sometime in 2021 to fill your farming needs. The Rune Factory series takes all of the happy-go-lucky farming themes from the Harvest Moon or Story of Seasons series and blends it with hack-and-slash dungeon crawling and monster farming. This is a pretty exciting release for many, as the mainline Rune Factory series has mostly been tied to handhelds, and it looks like Marvelous is putting in extra effort to make this title the best it can be with flashy new combat and a brand new visual style. Another title with a confirmed 2021 release is the Switch-exclusive Disgaea 6 Defiance of Destiny. This latest title in the comical tactical RPG is coming in fresh with a new 3D art style, which really gives the characters more life, or death in the case of the main character who's actually just a zombie. 2021 is shaping up to be basically the year of RPGs, but this is the only tactical one that we have on our list, so if that's your cup of tea, you might want to keep your eyes out on Disgaea 6. The original Monster Hunter stories came out fairly late in 3DS's life and may have skipped by many players, like me, but that hasn't stopped Capcom from putting in the work to continue the series on Switch with Monster Hunter Stories 2: Wings of Ruin. Developed as a spin-off of the original Monster Hunter series, Stories uses a turn-based battle system and gives you a wide-open world to explore with your monster companion. Not much is really known about the sequel beyond the fact that it looks incredible, and this could be one of the most exciting releases on Switch this year, once we actually see a little more of it. Hopefully Capcom brings over the original to Switch so anyone without a 3DS can prepare themselves for this new release whenever it drops this summer on Switch. The classic action RPG series Ys is back for more on Switch with the latest title in the mainline series, Ys 9 Monstrum Nox. This new title is taking the epic fantasy series in a much more edgy Shadow the Hedgehog, Dirge of Cerberus direction.
Almost every other character has an emo side part over their eye. I legitimately would have loved this game in high school, let me tell you.
I've never played an Ys title before, so I'm curious to know what Ys fans actually think of this new direction. Does it feel like a breath of fresh air or like an unnecessary change-up? But regardless of any qualms that I have, it still looks like an epic hack-and-slash adventure to spend your summer with. It's been a hot minute since we've heard about Baldo, not to be confused with the animated movie about a dog named Balto. But while we're on the topic, why do all dog movies have to have sad endings? Baldo was originally planned to release all the way back in the summer of 2020 and has been pushed back indefinitely, but the original trailer made it look like the game was fairly far along. We're hoping to learn more about this Studio Ghibli-inspired Zelda-like adventure sometime this year, but we also thought Hollow Knight's Silksong was going to be here by now too, and look at us.
Oh, me? I'm just over here not playing Silksong.
Every video we make in regards to upcoming games, Nintendo Directs, or other spotlight events, people are always in the comments sharing their excitement and anticipation for one particular game. And that's Rusty's Hollow Knight Silksong, the dark, hand-drawn sequel to the wonderful Metroidvania Hollow Knight. We really haven't heard much about Silksong since 2019, so hopefully we see it launch this year, but if 2020 has taught us anything, we've learned it's okay to sit and wait patiently for a game to cook a little longer if it needs.
Just remember to take it out of the oven before it burns.
League of Legends is coming to Switch in 2021, but not in the form most may think. Ruined King is a new RPG set in the world of League of Legends, starring plenty of champions from the series, and I believe this is the first real spin-off game the series has ever received. And if the gameplay looks familiar to you, it's because this is being developed by the team that brought us Darksiders Genesis and the Battle Chasers RPG, and we really enjoyed both of them. The dynamic combat and hand-drawn art style really lend itself well to this series and the story it's trying to tell. Now, we don't know when in 2021 this is supposed to drop, but if you're interested in it, keep your eyes open. The Shin Megami Tensei series has been soaring freely on the DS and 3DS for years, while its child, the Persona series, has been getting all the attention on consoles. But finally, it's time for the original to step up and get its shot at another console entry with the long-awaited Shin Megami Tensei 5. And it's coming to Switch sometime in 2021. We really don't know anything about this new RPG beyond the fact that there's demons, a brooding main character, and a city on the brink of destruction. And from an SMT title, can you really want or expect more? And if you're looking to get that SMT fix sooner than later, maybe SMT Nocturne will be able to tide you over until then when it launches in the spring of this year. Over the years, the wildlife photo collecting N64 classic Pokemon Snap gets brought up every so often. It was a unique spin-off that captured the hearts of many back in 1999, and hopefully in 2021, we'll get a chance to play this new iteration, New Pokemon Snap.
I really thought that after the headache that was the new Nintendo 2DS and 3DS, Nintendo would have moved past using that new sort of branding, but here we are.
They really wanted players to know that this is a new Pokemon Snap game, featuring Pokemon from what looks like every generation, with a soft and warm art style. There's a lot to look forward to here. I still just can't even believe this is actually happening. Just thinking about gyro aiming with the Switch system in hand, oh my gosh, please. What can we even say about Bayonetta 3? We haven't seen it. I don't know. Considering it was announced back in 2017, we're all hoping it gets released sooner or later. Director Kamiya has stated that the game is progressing well and that we've got nothing to worry about, but having not seen any sort of solid info on the game since 2017, it's all left us chomping at the bit for something. Paper Mario and Age of Calamity have both given us proof that it's possible for Nintendo to show off a game and release it a few months later, so we're hoping to see Bayonetta 3 follow suit sometime this year too. This next one may be quite a bit of a stretch, but Ridley did come to Smash when we knew he wasn't supposed to, so we know magic can happen in the Metroid universe. Considering Retro has been recently hiring out staff to help on the game, it's probably unlikely, but how perfect would it be to finally see Metroid Prime 4 on Switch this year? Especially if we end up getting the heavily requested Switch Pro this year too. And it's not like we even have the Metroid Prime trilogy to tide us over. Where is that? We need some sort of actual Metroid on Switch. And it would just make sense for Nintendo to bring out something this year.
But what if that something ends up being Other M?
No video game is perfect, but The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild comes close in many ways. Its dedication to feeding you secrets around every corner, to its unique combat system that makes no two battles the same. There's plenty of reason to dive back into this game for more, even after you've already put in hundreds of hours. But with that, there are still plenty of things that fans wanted more of, like deeper, themed dungeons, a beefier story, and the chance to finally play as Zelda.
It sure would be nice if Nintendo was working on a sequel.
Thankfully, Nintendo is, but we haven't really seen anything about it since 2019. And even though it wasn't much, it gave us hope that we might actually get some of those things we're requesting. And with 2021 being the 35th anniversary of the Legend of Zelda series, it would make perfect sense for Nintendo to have this game all ready for us Hylians this holiday.
And there you have it, 25 games that we're all hoping release on the Nintendo Switch in the year 2021 that you can all look forward to. Feel free to let us know in the comments down below your favorite game from this list. Let us know if you think we're being a little unrealistic or if we forgot something that we should have thrown on here. And as always, if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more content like this, then why don't you go ahead and release that subscribe button in the year 2021, way before it's ready to be released, and then ring that notification bell to be notified whenever we release new videos. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm Zian from Nintendo Life. We hope you all had a great holiday, stay safe out there, and we will see you next time.